6 yards. He was wide open.
After the turnover.
He's got a man.
Harper going deep. Caught.
Welcome, everyone. We are now going to game 6 for the Huskers, Rutgers week. And one thing I'm going to do, we're about halfway there. This week will be about halfway. So I wanted to kind of go in before I go into the Rutgers game and ask a question to see what everybody thinks. And that is Raiola better than we thought he would be? And I know we all, mainly as Husker fans, we thought he'd do well. And a lot of it probably was hoping he'd do well, but we knew he was special. You heard me since we've been recruiting him. I've said on almost every video he's not your typical freshman. But has he done better than we really thought he was? And to me personally, I think he has, because he's only played 5 games. 5 games, that's it. And these defenses, these teams have thrown everything at him they could think of. And he has been poised, confident, made the right decision. No, he's not perfect. And he's only had 2 interceptions. Both of them were deep 50-50 balls that the defender took away. I could live with that. He has kept us in the game to the point we probably have more confidence in the offense, or just as much confidence as we do the defense. So I feel like he has done a lot better than we thought he would be at this time. So you guys tell me what you think. Is he a lot better than you thought? Or is this what you thought he would be? Or maybe he's not as good as you thought he'd be. Maybe you had bigger expectations. But that comes to my next question, and that is, because of that, are the Huskers a better team than we thought they'd be? And I want to say no, they're not. I don't think they're worse. I think they're about where we thought they would. They're right where we thought they'd be. I think the offense is doing a better than we thought and hoped they would, but the defense is not doing as well as we thought they would. So that's kind of just evened it out there. But we all thought they'd probably be a 7 or 8 win team. I had them at 8-4, and I think that's about where they're headed. So I don't think they're better than we thought they were at the beginning of the year as a team, but I don't think they're worse than we thought they were. So we need to get in now we're going to get in from here on out to see how good they are, see how much they've improved, see if they could clean up some of these unforced errors, these unforced penalties. They've done a good job on the turnovers. They're a plus on the turnovers. We need to keep that up. We need to clean up some of these penalties. I understand the officiating's been bad, but it's been bad for everyone. Big 12, Big 10, every team. And I don't know why. Maybe it's because a lot of these teams these conferences are growing, so they need more officials. So they're not getting. I officiated back in the 90s. I officiated high school football down here in Texas. Texas is a huge football state. They go by NCAA rules, so we went by college rules, and this is where a lot of your collegiate officials come from, is in Texas. And so they go through the high school and all that. We go through a lot of clinics, a lot of camps, conferences, and we learn how we go. And the one thing they always taught us in almost officiating 101, do not throw a flag you do not see. That's why a lot of times you might saw a hold or saw a face mask, and maybe the back was to that official, and you're thinking, why didn't you throw that? If you don't see it, you can't throw it. Even though you see the head turn, you can't throw it. Where a lot of times as a fan, you might go, oh, it's face man. You see the replay and realize they just grabbed the shoulder pad or something and it turned him. So that's number one. You do not throw a flag unless you see the grasping, unless you actually see the foul, which seems like these guys last week forgot about that rule, because rule said he got an answer on Fedoni's pass interference, offensive pass interference, and the league said, oops, we missed that one. It was not a penalty. That's BS. You didn't miss anything. Missing is when there's a face mask or whatever and you didn't see it and you missed it. That's a miss. When you throw a flag, you throw a penalty on what you said you saw and you really didn't see it, then that's a problem. That's a big problem, because that means you threw it because you thought what you saw, not what you saw. And we know that because he didn't do it. So that's a big problem, So I have a problem with some things like that. If you miss something, that's a little different. But this was not a miss, because when a miss is something that was there and you didn't see it, not throwing something that you thought you saw and it really wasn't there. That's a bigger problem, which took a touchdown off the board, didn't cost Nebraska in that game, but could easily cost them in another game. And like I said, it ain't just Nebraska, it's everybody. It's all the teams are putting up with this. So hopefully the league's going to do something about it. Don't get the privilege of hearing it. I always thought they ought to put them out, because maybe you do a better job if you were held accountable. If you had to get on the air and hear the media talk about why'd you call this, I wish they would change that. And they're saying, well, then no one officiating. Yeah, they pay them enough. Trust me, they officiate. Don't give me that. But they don't do that. So now the key is, how are we going to do here against Rutgers? And to me, this is a game that we want to look at, because Rutgers is 4-0, not getting any respect. They're still not ranked. Man, if you go look, let me show you guys this. If you go look, they average 35 points a game, 16.25 they give up. But they rush the ball 237.8 yards a game and throw the ball 190. So they are a rushing team. They're probably the best rushing team we're going to see so far. And I see them kind of like Wisconsin, the old Wisconsin, want to wear you out, pound it, control the clock, get physical with you. But they probably throw the ball a little better, but they're not the greatest passing team. You know what I mean? Illinois was a lot better team, a lot better passing team to me. But if you look at their defense, they average giving up 172.8 yards of rushing and 179.5 yards of passing. So defensively, they haven't been great. To me, Illinois' defense was a lot better. And I feel like because of that, Nebraska is going to be able to move the ball. Nebraska is going to be able to go up and down. The question is, can they stop the run? Because Rutgers is going to want to control the clock. If they could run the ball and control the clock, that's the way they keep Nebraska off the field. They limit Dillon and this offense to 50 or so snaps. That's how they keep them from scoring, because if Dillon and them's on the field, I feel like Nebraska will be able to move the ball, will be able to score. And I also feel if you give Dillon, Raiola, and the rest, Banks, Nair, it just isn't Dillon, Raiola. Harburg didn't have these weapons last year. To me, Harburg's done well this year. He's 8 for 8. He's yet to have incomplete, and he's ran the ball real well. I understand it's under mop-up duty, but I do feel like if he had to come in, we could move the ball and probably win this game just as well. The key is the defense. We have to be able to stop the run. These teams now know what to expect with a Tony White 3-3-5. Last year was new, just learning, so the defense shined a little more. You're not going to see it as much, because now guess what? You and I figured it out. Illinois stole it, spread Nebraska out, ran it up the middle, and I expect almost every team from here on out to try it, because they are a running team. So we need our secondary to step up and be able to go man on man with these receivers. Now, it's not Ohio State. They should be able to do it. But to me, they're going to have to be able to stop the run. Remember, what is the three? You need special teams. You need to be able to run the ball, and you're able to stop the run. Our special teams blow? Well, not totally. It's the kicking game at those. I think Fushini's done well. I even think the returns have been decent. But the field goal kicking, we got to get that solved. We have to get that solved, and let's see how that turns out. So I feel like it's going to come down to probably whoever has the ball last. Hopefully it's Nebraska. And I went back and forth on this. I know at the beginning of the year, I actually picked Rutgers to win this game. But guess what? I picked Illinois to lose their game, and they won. But Nebraska is a better team than you think. If they would stop shooting themselves in the foot, stop doing these unforced errors, if they would have played a clean game in all these games, they would have won them all. So if they could do that, they should win this game. I feel like it's going to come down the end. I feel like Dillon and this offense can move the ball, score late. And honestly, I'd rather be down by 2 or 3 and let Dillon take over and go down and score a touchdown to win it than be up by 4 or 5 and have the defense on there, because the Dillon, Raiola, and a lot of these offensive players weren't here last year. So you have Dillon, you have Ja'Cory Barney, you have Carter Nelson, you have Banks, you have Nair. A lot of your offense wasn't here, so they don't have that losing. Trust me, losing gets in your head when you've done it so much. This defense is all seniors. They got a lot of experience, a lot of talent, but it's in their head. I know it is. You could say it's not, and maybe it's not as obvious as it was, but when it gets down to it, it's going to be hard to not. It's going to be hard not to think it. That's where Rule's saying you got to just do your job. You got to do the one. That's where they overthink it, and they throw something in there, and they're like, "Oh, he's going to leave him open," and next thing you know, you miss your guy, or he misses his guy. So he said, just do your job. Let everyone else worry about what their job is, and if you do your 111, everybody does their 111, you'll do fine. So we got to get it in that mindset. They could do this. They can do this. And that's all it is a mindset because they have the talent to do it. And so let's see if that can happen. But I do feel like at the end, they do win this game. They win at 35-31, and Nebraska moves on. Yeah, I could be a little biased there because I really came close picking Rutgers in this game. But I just feel like being at home and all that, I feel like they should do it. But the key is let's get this team improved. Let's stop some of these unforced errors. We've done a great job in the turnover aspect. We're positive in the turnover aspect. Dylan's done a great job with that. The whole team has. And let's see if we could stop this run because this one's going to be a key. If we could shine and stop the run here, Nebraska could pull away and win this game by double digits. But if you keep Rutgers in the game, let them control the clock, Rutgers can win this game. So it could go anyway. I feel like it's going to be a close game to a point. If Rutgers win, it's going to be close. They're going to just limit the Huskers' offensive tries and win it that way with a good run game and a controlled clock. Or if Nebraska's able to stop them, because I just feel like Rutgers is going to have a hard time stopping Nebraska's offense. They might do it right at the beginning when emotions are high, but overall, I feel like Nebraska will be able to move this ball. So the question you want to ask yourself, is this a make or break game? Do you guys feel like this is a make or break game? Tell me in the comments below. You feel like they have to win this. The season depends on it. I'm going to tell you, and if you heard my other video, you probably already know what I said, but I do not feel like this is the make or break. I know everybody thought our easiest wins was going to be the first 7 games before Ohio State. Everybody said, "Oh, they go 7-0." I even had them going 6-1, losing this game right here with Rutgers. But then we realized, guess what? These up front were better than we thought. Illinois is better than we thought. Indiana's better, a lot better than we thought. So now you're looking at it going, "Oh wow, we got some teams here that are better than we thought." So you look on the back half, maybe not, they're not as strong as we thought. Wisconsin's not playing like we thought. Iowa's not playing like we thought. So this is how I look at it. They could lose this game, be 4-2, lose at Indiana, be 4-3, and then go lose to Ohio State and be 4-4. And we're looking at 4-4, and we're going to be upset. I'm going to be upset. We're not going to be happy. We're probably going to be thinking, here we go again. But then you think about it. They lose Ohio State. They're 4-4. They beat UCLA. That's a game I feel like they'll win. USC is not a loss, not a given loss. Yeah, right now I might give the edge to USC, but USC has a quarterback that's more Nebraska defensive style. You know what I mean? He's not as mobile as some of these that give him trouble. This is a defense that an offense that Nebraska controls a lot better. So Nebraska could win that game. I feel like that's going to be a lot closer than you think. Maybe USC pulls that one out, but it's going to be a lot closer than you think. And I feel like defensively we're going to look well, and I feel like offensively we're going to move the ball. So that one's not a total loss. But then you got Wisconsin. We could beat Wisconsin. We could beat Iowa. Well, there's at least 3: UCLA, Wisconsin, Iowa. That makes you 7-5. If you figure a way of beating USC, that's 8-4. Or maybe you figure a way of winning this weekend or against Indiana, so you could be 8-4, maybe even 9-3. So about 7 or 8 wins is where we thought they'd be, and I feel like that's where they're on track. So even if I don't want them to lose, you don't want them to lose, but even though they could go on a little losing streak here, unless it gets into their head, I feel like they'll be fine. But let's try to win this game against Rutgers. You go into that bye feeling good, be able to get ready for Indiana because Indiana's going to be tough. Feel like Indiana might even be tougher than you think. That quarterback can move, and that just gives Nebraska fits. So I feel like let's try to concentrate on this one, get this defensive straightened out, stop this run. So you guys tell me what you think. You feel like this is a make or break game? Tell me in the comments below. How do you feel like this game's going to go this weekend? You think they're going to win it, or you feel like this is one Rutgers could pull out? It is homecoming. We usually win again in homecoming, but guess what? On the 400th sellout, on these anniversary sellouts, we've always won, and we ended up losing. But I feel like if they do play their game, do not have unforced penalties, unforced errors, I feel like then they should win this game. So tell me in the comments below what you think. And if you want, just shoot me an email. If you want something you want me to answer on air, if you want something you want me to talk about, or if you just want to shoot me an email, it's jeff@bigredcountry.net. And like always, please like and subscribe to the channel. It helps the channel get out, helps the logarithm, gets it out to other college football fans and other Nebraska fans. And it really helps me a lot. It's something you could do that's free, doesn't cost anything, and it really helps me out. And like always, smash that like button, guys. Until after the game, go Big Red.